I'm Rick Kaler. Thanks for joining me. In recent weeks, the Trump administration's illegal maneuvers around deporting Venezuelan immigrants, which were alleged to be gang members, has ignited a dramatic confrontation with the federal courts. The administration proceeded with the deportations despite U.S. District Judge James Boasberg's restraining order to halt them. The administration argued that the flights fell outside of the court's jurisdiction. After the ruling, Trump called for the judge's impeachment, a move backed by many Republican lawmakers, and was rebuked by Chief Justice John Roberts. Now, this might seem like political theater. You might be wondering, what has this to do with finances? And we'll get at that because we need to realize what's at stake. If a sitting president or anyone in the executive branch chooses to defy a court order, particularly one if it were to come from the Supreme Court, we're in a constitutional crisis. Many legal scholars believe we may be inching dangerously close to this. According to Axios AM, March 23, 2025, even John Yoo, a conservative legal scholar and Trump ally known for his expansive view of presidential power, warned that defying a judicial order would be a terrible mistake. I must admit, in today's hyper-polarized world, speaking about this topic makes me really uneasy. It's hard to raise a red flag with without someone assuming that you're raising a blue flag. I try to stay in the middle of the road, less because I enjoy dodging traffic and more because that's where pragmatic thinking tends to thrive. But it's becoming harder and harder to talk about facts without running into deeply entrenched cognitive biases that lead us to dismiss facts that don't fit our worldview. Let me be really clear. The issue here is not political ideology. It's not about whether we should deport criminals who are here illegally, cut wasteful government spending, or reform the government to be more efficient. Reasonable people can and should debate all of those. This is about implementing these policies within the structural integrity of the legal system that allows us to have those debates in the first place. Our system of governance is built on checks and balances through a division of power among the executive, congressional, and judicial branches. As a financial professional, I pay close attention to the foundations under our economy. A crucial part of that is the foundation of the rule of law. Now, markets don't typically flinch at political noise because that foundation is in place. That foundation hasn't even been questioned for decades. But when that noise begins to challenge the basic architecture of governance, like an independent judiciary, the risks change. The rule of law is the quiet engine behind the U.S. economic stability. It allows contracts to be enforced, property to be protected, and institutions to function with a degree of predictability. Investors rely on the idea that no matter who's in control, who's in office, the system itself is steady. So far, the administration is claiming it hasn't technically broken the law, but many legal and economic observers are really uneasy. It remains to be seen whether this moment becomes a historical turning point or just another blip. If a Supreme Court ruling is openly defied, markets are going to notice. The financial world may not shrug off such a violation of the norm. So all this brings us to a practical financial question for investors. What should you be doing, if anything? I'll give you this one very important observation. If your entire stock portfolio is concentrated in U.S. equities, this may be the time to consider aligning your holdings more closely with global capital markets. Concentrating all of your investment exposure in stocks in one country, especially one facing growing political instability and uncertainty, carries unnecessary risks for you. Allocating around 40% of your equity portfolio to international markets could provide meaningful diversification and a buffer if domestic instability continues to ripple through the financial system. Whatever you do, it's essential to act from a place of prudence, not panic. And it's prudent to remember that markets don't just run on numbers. They run on trust. Thanks for listening.